Hey everyone! The purpose of today's video is to review our Lifting Infants and Children procedure. This is something that can be found in our employee handbook, and for current staff, it is also something you will be receiving a copy of. Before viewing this video, please make sure you have the procedures in front of you. So for those who are getting it today, it will look like this. Why don't let you see it? For any new hires, it will be the same information. It will just be found in our handbook. So the way that we start off our policy is by discussing how you should be standing. So when you look up information on lifting children, most of what you will see is information on how to protect yourself. As we all know, some of these kids are heavy, so you want to make sure that the way you are lifting them properly protects your back, your hands, your forearms, that type of thing. So step one is to get a good foundation by placing your feet shoulder width apart with the load between your feet. If your legs are close together, you'll lack stability and leverage and will be more likely to round your back and tense your neck as you lift. So feet spread apart. That's your good foundation. Second step, resist the temptation to bend at the waist to pick up the infant or child. Instead, squat down with your chest forward and your butt sticking out. Basically like we're at the gym, girls. This is so important. In fact, bending at the waist, even to pick up lightweight objects or just to talk to a pint-sized tot, can put strain on your back, so squat or kneel instead. Step 3. Stay loose and neutral. Keep your spine straight and head/neck relaxed and in a neutral position. Your goal is to engage and lift with your thighs, not your back. Step 4. As you squat down or stand up again, feel free to get extra support by using a hand or elbow on your thigh, wall, or piece of furniture if able, as it can take off some of the compression and strain. Step 5 is where we will begin talking about where you will be touching a child and how you should be touching the child as you lift them. So we're going to start with small infants. So for this, we have our little friend here. When lifting an infant, so infant specifically, this is more geared towards infants that cannot hold their own head up. Once a child is able to support themselves by sitting up, have good neck control, then we transfer over to how to lift a child versus an infant. So with an infant, you are to support their head. Slide one hand under their head at the base of their neck and place your other hand under their bottom. Once you have a good grip, you are going to, so say my infant's out here, I have a good grip, I'm going to scoop up the infant and bring it to my chest. Always bring the infant to your chest before you lift. So rather than doing like this, lifting up, and then coming to my chest, that gives me plenty of opportunities to drop this child. So you have your hand under the neck and head, another hand under the bottom, you're going to bring them to your chest, and then you're going to lift up. So head support is critical for newborns because their neck muscles are not developed. So with this, you probably, even once those infants do have neck support, if you have a baby laying in a crib that's a 7-month-old sitting up fine, you're still going to want to support that neck so that as you're lifting, their head is not falling back like this. You want to make sure that you're properly lifting them to give them the support that they need. Their neck muscles are not developed. Be careful to not press on the soft spots on the baby's head, which is why it's important to be back here. Rely on your palms instead of your wrists to lift, doing the same thing on the back. Lifting a baby can put a strain on your wrist. Keep your thumbs close to your hands, so not like this. You're grabbing the baby like this when you're scooping. Large gaps between your thumb and the rest of your hand will put a strain on the tendons that control your thumb. And while you guys might think this is minuscule stuff, it really shouldn't matter where your thumb is if your fingers are spread. Think about the workers in the baby room who are doing this all day. Their whole day revolves around picking up and putting down. So those are the people who you really do need to pay attention to how you're holding your hands because this is something that you're doing repetitively. Babies typically can keep their head up with minimal support around 3 or 4 months of age. But like I said, at that point, you're still making sure if they're laying down that as you scoop them up, you are controlling that. All right, so then we moved on to a child who can support their own head. With a child who can support their own head, you're going to place both hands on either side of their torso beneath their underarms. It is extremely important to always lift by the torso rather than the arms. Lifting a child by the arm or wrist can cause common injuries such as a nursemaid's elbow, sprains, or strains. After placing both hands on the child's torso, lift up and bring the child's body towards your own. So what this means is if she is sitting like this, sitting straight up, I am coming and putting my hands here and lifting her up to me. I am not grabbing her. So okay, let's do this with her facing me. I've seen people come at it like this and scoop them up by their arms and bring them to you. And although that might not seem rough to you, you are placing a lot of strain on their arms. Another thing I've seen is, say a child needs to be removed from a center, and of course they don't want to be because they were having fun, they were having a good time, and it's okay that they hit Billy in the head with a block because he needed it. No. So it's time to be removed from that center. So, okay, come on, come with me. And then the child drops because they don't want to come with you. You cannot keep pulling them with you because at this point, the full weight of their body is on their hand, wrist, arm. So that is when you would come, you would put your hands on their sides, underneath their underarms, lift them and bring them to you and take them wherever you need them to go. That is a better option for them at that moment. Let's see, even as you are lifting the infant or child, keep them close to your body. This is to prevent you from dropping them. It gives you more stability as you're not balancing your weight out here and with yourself. It's just a better option for you both. Keep your back straight and your head facing forward. Engage your legs and straighten to a standing position. Remember to keep your body facing the infant or child during the whole movement. Remember, do not twist your body at any point while lifting, as this can also strain your back. I have had people ask if you're allowed to lift up a child from behind. You are, but you need to make sure you announce yourself. This is something that Itters harps on a little bit, is you don't want to catch a child off guard. You don't want to scare a child. So say Piper's over here playing with blocks and it's time for a diaper change and I've called her and she's just not quite ready to come. I'll say, all right, Piper, I'm going to come pick you up so we can go get your diaper changed. And then I pick her up, turn her to me, and carry her properly over to the changing table. That's completely fine as long as you have talked to the child and you have let them know what you're about to do. The lifting of a child is one instance where abiding by our fingernail policy is crucial. In our handbook, our fingernail policy does not allow them to be past your finger. So with that, we know that this is to prevent us from accidentally scratching or harming a child with long nails. So as you're lifting a child, the palm of your hand will be resting against the child and your fingernail will gently be wrapped, or your fingers will gently be wrapped around the child for support. If your fingernails are longer than the acceptable length, you could end up causing accidental and unnecessary injury or harm to the child. So say you've got a chunky little man, and as you pick him up, your fingernails kind of dug into his back because he's so heavy as you lifted him. We don't want there to end up being a mark just because of how long your nails were. So make sure you check that policy. Make sure you review it in its entirety. And make sure that you're checking your nails each day before you come to work to make sure that they are at the appropriate length. Let's see. I believe that sums up our policy. So again, infants that cannot control their head when they are laid down, you are going underneath, neck and head, underneath bottom, bending, bringing them to you, and then bringing them up. Once children are able to control their head, your hands are on either side, not just one side, not the arms, not the forearms, just their sides, lifting up and bringing to you. If you guys have any questions about that, if you would like to see a demonstration with a child that is more appropriate to your age group, please let me know and I will be happy to provide that. Thank you.